Hi, this is Chelsea at the Ivy Journey. Welcome back to episode 3 of Hytale, the survival crafting newly released game. So, I did quite a bit of exploring and gathering resources in this episode. I found this castle thing that had a whole bunch of skeletons in it. I had already killed several of them before I had started recording, and I also was able to figure out how to use the power up on my weapons. I found a couple weapons that work way better than the sword that I had. And I found lots of good loot in these chests. There were several chests throughout this castle thing that I found. So I was looting as much as I could. I was honestly just going through and exploring the land, looking for a place that I want to build my home at. So as I was going through the night, I found this. It's extra creepy at night. So yeah, I surprisingly did not die. I came across these really cool black wolves too. They hit pretty hard, so thankfully I had found a potion of health, and I was able to use after this wolf almost took me out here. So yeah, and after got hit with this one, I just drank my potion and ran away. I also figured out how to make a couple new recipes. I also got some armor. Started out with just a few basic things, but was able to eventually have a full set of armor. It's kind of a mix of copper and iron. Found this area here. It's kind of like a mix of mountains and big rocks on one side, and then these really beautiful trees on the other. I saw this super cool big tree that is attached to this mountain right here and just fell in love with it. And after quickly looking around here, found that there was also this mine here that goes into a cave right under it. And I really like the trees all around. And then you climb up this mountain, and you have a really great view. And then there's also another one of those little castles over here. I have not explored that yet. I'll do that in a future episode. And looking here on the map, this is a pretty good location, and I really, really like this tree here. So I was like, I think this is where home is going to be. So I went ahead and put down my bed. I found that one bed, I don't know, somewhere while I was exploring. And then I started just clearing out a little bit of space, gathering some more resources, making some chests so I could drop off all the stuff that I had just been carrying around while I was exploring everywhere. And then I eventually plan to make my way back to my other home that I had, my temporary one that's in the Blue Forest, just to gather some of the resources that I had already there. I have several chests full. I'm not sure if I will actually go back and get everything that I had there, but I do go and get the main resources like the crafting benches and a chest worth of stuff, like however much stuff I could fit in one haul. So I dumped off as much stuff as I could here before I went off to go gather some stuff. On my way, these pigs here, they were in this hole. So I went down in there, and there's actually quite a bit of copper and iron that was in here. So this was a really great find. So thanks to those little pigs for leading me down here. It was pretty creepy. It goes pretty deep. So I didn't want to go too far. So I ended up just going back out. I was really worried about dying on my way while I was exploring. Found these really beautiful fall trees. And so I went ahead and chopped this one down. They're pretty thick, but this is just so satisfying. Like, I will never get tired of that. Just wow. And then I think I end up using this wood later to start building some stuff. But yeah, I made my way back to here's was like my little temporary house. So I got all my little crafting benches that I had and was able to get one little chest worth of stuff. And then I was closer to the portal to the Forgotten Land. So I went ahead in there and dropped off like the memories that I had. I had 11 new memories. So then I made my way back and dropped off all the stuff that I carried and I started building. This is my first time building in this game. Don't really have any building experience, even much in Minecraft. So yeah, I really just was like playing around with the wood that I had on me already, made some of these planks and just made a platform for kind of like a tree house, but not really attached to the tree, just at the base of it. And then added some logs all the way around. And I ended up choosing the roof that has kind of like blue on it. I think it's really pretty. Yeah, just really using what resources I already had and just kind of figuring out how to build in this game and craft all the different shapes and everything like that. And I even added some little windows in here. They don't look that great, and you honestly can't really see them once I put all of my stuff inside of this, but this is really just supposed to be a temporary spot and a way for me to kind of practice with all the building material. So it was really interesting putting this roof on here, and I really don't like the way the blocks that are on like the front of the house where it transitions from like the roof into the wall. I ran out of those one logs, so it's fine. I'll just deal with it for now. So I will have to gather a lot more materials, a lot more trees and stuff in order to build a much bigger house, which I do plan on building a much bigger house with like farms and all this stuff at the top of the mountain beside the tree. So I also worked on clearing out a bunch of that land. Look how cute this is. Like, I love that tree so much. And then here's the little temporary house. I love all those green and yellow trees. So yeah, this is what the little temporary house looks like. I got all my stuff moved in there. Fits pretty good for a little temporary house. I also went down into another cave. I do plan on exploring it much more. Again, was just trying to gather some resources and kind of check out what's kind of close to my now new home, but also not trying to die in the process. So lots of creatures down in the caves, as you can see. These spiders are absolutely disgusting. But there was like a decent amount of copper and iron. Also, these mushrooms are really cool and do not like these goblins. So I again was thankful for these much stronger weapons to fight all these newfound creatures that I was finding along the way. I also think that there was a mine I stepped on in this cave. I'm assuming that what it was because something blew up. Thankfully did not kill me.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Yeah, these things, these legless things, I think they spawn at night. This one came out of nowhere, scared me, and then I went out and saw all these glowing eyes, which was them. So there was like a whole group of them, and I just decided to go inside and ignore them. I also worked on sorting out my chest with all the stuff I had gathered so far and really clearing out a couple layers of this top of the mountain. Just trying to have like a big flat spot area for my future building. Don't really have a really good idea about what specifically I want to build. I just know I'll have like, a big house with like, space for everything and lots of chests and storage and eventually farms and stuff like that. So I really just worked on clearing out this mountain. It was a lot of digging up several layers and then laying down a whole bunch of dirt because I'm just using dirt as like a big flat spot for this area. There's also some really cool like rocks already that I think would make into a really pretty waterfall if that is a thing that can be done in this game. So I will try to check that out eventually. Also along with exploring the cave under my house and the castle that is next door. But yeah, I mainly just worked on gathering a bunch of resources and building my little tiny temporary tree house, and exploring to gather resources this episode. This, I think, is going to be really cool. I'm excited to build some more and see what other creatures and stuff that we can find along the way. So if you're not already, don't forget to subscribe, and thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bye.